my name is Dante and welcome to Story Hub. My friend Kate, 28, has a boyfriend, Jamie, 29, who she has been with for nearly 3 years. We met Jamie on a night out, and I would say that although he's Kate's BF, I consider him a friend. We share an interest in a particular sport that we text about sometimes, and if I have a spare hospitality ticket to one of the sporting fixtures, I will sometimes invite Jamie to go. Jamie's 30th is coming up and Jamie and Kate planned a big party, and I peripherally helped out with logistics when asked. A few days ago, Kate texted me. She asked if I wouldn't mind toning down my look for the party, and if I could send her a picture of what I was planning to wear. I asked her what this meant, and after asking several times if she really had to say it, she asked if I could dress verbatim. Basically what would consider frumpy, because she really didn't want to be outshone at her own boyfriend's birthday party. When I didn't reply right away, she went on to say that she wanted Jamie's full attention that night, which she wouldn't get if I showed up dressed properly. I was a bit annoyed by what she was implying, so I said if I was going to be so much of a concern for her, I'd rather just politely decline the invitation. Kate freaked out, saying I was being immature by not coming just because I couldn't steal the spotlight. I said it wasn't about that. It was about her making me responsible for whether or not I draw her boyfriend's attention, which is something I've never tried to do nor done as far as I'm aware. She then said it was really important to Jamie that she stand out because his friends and colleagues would be there. I just told her that again. If she was so worried I was going to be distracting everyone, I'd rather not come than feel humiliated from now until the event. I said I would send her Jamie's gift and she could tell him why I wasn't coming. I guess she didn't tell him the reason because Jamie messaged me saying he knows I'm booked the night of the party, but he'd really like it if I could be there, and asked if I could reorganize so I could come. I hadn't replied, but I got a message from Kate saying she knows Jamie is trying to get me to come and please could I just put my pride aside and come to the party. I asked if she was going to ditch the outfit policing, but she said no, so I said I would not be coming. She didn't reply, but I've since received a couple of texts from mutual friends saying that while her request is ridiculous, Kate is aware of that. She's just desperate to be seen a certain way, and even if it's pathetic, I would probably feel the same way in her shoes. Other friends I've told, who don't know Kate, say I should not bow to the pressure and that she's nuts for even asking, and I don't disagree. But also I feel bad skipping the party when it's Jamie's birthday and he asked specifically that I come. So, should I be going? Update. As surprised as I was that so many people said to tell Jamie, I did realize it was the right thing to do. So, I texted him and told him that Kate was insisting I dressed a certain way. Jamie called and explained. A couple of months ago, Jamie and Kate were out with a few of his friends. These same friends that I mentioned in my comments are not fond of Kate, and everyone had had a lot to drink. They were talking about how they met their SOs, and the story of Jamie and Kate meeting came up. Apparently during the telling of the story, Kate asked Jamie why he had decided to hit on her rather than me, and one of his friends joked that it was because he knew he didn't have a shot with the hot one me. Kate asked if this was true, and Jamie, having had way too much to drink, explained in a way that made it sound kind of true. He said he did notice me that night and thought I was attractive. Just seeing me. He said he would never have approached me because he knew he would never have a chance with someone like me. So in that way, his friend was right. He said that speaking to Kate was the absolute best outcome because he loves her and plans on spending the rest of his life with her. But even knowing this, Kate has taken this extremely hard, and even though she says she is over it, he's noticed changes in her behavior that seem to be related to that. He also admitted that he'd been planning to propose to Kate at the party, and that is why he'd wanted me to be there. But after hearing this on top of the way she has been handling the situation previously, he won't be doing that anymore. After speaking to Jamie, I called Kate. She admitted that she had tied a lot of her self-worth in the fact that she'd finally been picked over me, and now it felt like that wasn't true. She apologized for trying to solve her insecurities through me, but also said she wasn't sure she would be able to have me in her life as much as I had been with the way she's been feeling. As hurt as I was, I said I understood. She said she still wanted me to come to the party, since I'd helped organize it, and she obviously dropped the absurd dress code, so I will be going to the party. I trust that Kate will communicate her boundaries to Jamie, but I don't plan on inviting him to any more events for the foreseeable future. I'm really sad that I've probably lost a longtime friend over the drunken awkwardness of other people, but I also get that Kate can't help how she feels, and frankly it's for the best not to be in a secret competition. So, yeah, I'm hurt, but I'm going to the party. Not a satisfying update, but an honest one. Update. Going through these comments has actually brought up a couple of memories that have, in hindsight, made me a bit uncomfortable, and I actually don't think I will end up going to this party. As much as the mutual friends will have questions and I don't know how much of the truth I will end up telling, I feel too weird right now to continue to be involved in this situation. Not the idiot. Jamie sounds like a real piece of work with bad taste in friends. So you dodged a bullet there. That's not something you should say in front of your partner. I hope Kate gets out of this relationship before it gets any more serious and you two can mend fences. But either way, be glad he didn't think he had a shot with you and that you can just walk away from this drama-filled mess. Not the idiot. This is heartbreaking for Kate. You did nothing wrong, and she obviously was out of line with what she asked of you. But I can't imagine hearing your partner say that would be an easy thing to get over, especially if she's insecure. She shouldn't have asked. He shouldn't have said what he did or exposed her to his friends if they have a history of not treating her well. I'm sorry you're losing a good friend over this. Would you be mad if someone tried to manipulate you like Kate did? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for yelling at my mom when she acted like nothing happened after my dad cheated? My parents have a great relationship. Well, that's what I thought before what happened. My parents usually have friends over and always tell me I'm free to have friends over, so it wasn't a surprise when I unlocked the front door and could hear my dad and another woman in the kitchen. Since my dad usually calls my name when he hears me opening the door, I thought he probably didn't think I was home yet. I walked to the kitchen to greet my dad, but then I saw it. He kissed the woman on the cheek, a woman that isn't a mom. Both of them were turned, facing away from the door so they didn't see me. My dad proceeded to flirt with the woman until I threw my bag on the ground to get their attention. They pulled apart and Dad called out if that was me. I walked into the kitchen and greeted him and the woman, then I locked myself in my room for the rest of the afternoon. I only came out when my mom came home. I helped my mom put away her things and put her weekly flowers in a vase before turning to her and telling her what I saw. She stayed quiet for a moment, then told me that she'll take care of it and that I shouldn't worry about it anymore. A few days go by and nothing happens. There was no fight, no arguments, no sour faces at each other, no divorce. Nothing that would usually happen to cheaters in movies and stuff. It pissed me off how my mom could continue to joke with my dad after what he did and still cook for him. Yesterday after dinner when my dad went to bed, I went to her demanding to know what's wrong with her and how she could go on living a life with dad who cheated. She sighed and told me to drop it, but I didn't. I asked her why she wasn't getting a divorce and why she was putting up with my past dad. She glared at me and told me to watch my tone and to not disrespect my dad. Finally, I yelled at her asking why she was defending him, and she told me that she'd explain everything once I cooled down. I told my brother, 17, the whole story so he could know the truth about my dad, but he seemed really irritated. He told me to shut up and not tell anyone else in the family about my dad. He said that if mom said she'd handle, she would. I told him she didn't and that they were still acting as if it happened. He glared at me and told me to calm down and talk to mom like an adult if I wanted to act like one instead of just yelling at her. He also called me an idiot for escalating the situation and making dinners awkward. I don't think I'm the idiot, but whatever. Am I the idiot? My after-school activities got canceled that day and I didn't let my parents know beforehand, so they didn't expect me to be home so early. I'm just gonna add the timeline. I caught my dad Friday after school, told my mom Friday night after she came home from work, waited then went at my mom Monday night, wrote this post an hour after yelling at her, talked to my cousin or 12 a.m., apologized after school, Tuesday, edit. I asked my dad about it but he just avoided answering and told me that him and mom would talk to me about it when I cooled down. What do I have to cool down about? Edit. Going against what my brother said, I talked to my cousin about it since we're pretty close. 16 Fahrenheit. Basically, she told me two things. 1. Stop getting influenced by TikTok and Reddit. And 2. Said they're an open relationship. I asked how she knew for sure and she told me to give my parents time to explain this and that it took her mom a month before she finally sat her and my brother down after they caught her with a family friend. After asking, she told me this happened about 5 years ago. Never thought my aunt was like that. Edit. After sleeping it off and reading everyone's comments, I felt really guilty for yelling at my mom and now I deserve all those. You're the idiot, lol. I apologized to my mom once I got home from school and am now going to stay with my friend for a few days. Hopefully my parents will be ready to talk when I return. Update. After sleeping off my rage fit and reading some of the comments, I did come to terms that I was in the wrong. Some people had mentioned that my parents could have been trying to come up with the best way to talk to me, which I believe was true because they've never been good at having heart-to-hearts. So doing what I thought would be good for everyone, I made plans to stay with my close friend and let my parents be. I apologized to my mom and left for my friends. There was a little arson situation at our high school like an hour before school ended, so we all got out early and I decided to go home earlier. When my parents got home from work, we had our conversation. First, my mom apologized profusely for having me wait and not saying anything earlier. And my dad apologized for having me see what I saw. I accepted them but apologized to my mom again. My mom said we weren't planning on telling you everything until you moved out, but you're idiot for a father always messes poop up. She then told me that what they have is like an open relationship, but they never knew what to label it until one of their friends helped. She also told me that since they were being honest, it was her who cheated first and my dad turned out to be okay. My dad told me that if I wanted, they wouldn't have their friends around anymore. I declined that offer since I was already used to seeing them and I never minded the extra people in the house. My brother joined the conversation and told me the story of how he found out about my aunt and our parents. Later, my brother came into my room and showed me my Am I the Idiot post on his phone. Yes, he found my post FML. He pinched me and said he was sorry. To clear up a few things. 1. Many of you said it was obvious it was an open relationship, but like it wasn't to me. 2. A lot of you took the sentence, "Never thought my aunt was like that." Wrong. I wasn't judging or anything. I was honestly just surprised since I didn't expect my aunt of all people to like that sort of thing. She's pretty conservative, lol. 3. I didn't want to believe my parents were in an open relationship since I just couldn't picture it. 4. My mom always tells me a few things, one of them being never let a man make a fool of you. Thinking my mom was just letting my dad mess around without any consequences was what made me mad. 5. I never wanted a divorce. 6. I referenced movies once Elmau. 7. My parents didn't gaslight me and I'm not traumatized. Everyone that shared their experiences, I hope you're at peace now. This was a roller coaster of emotion and I think made us all a bit closer. About the idiot. I'm still mad at how they reacted ... like you were upset over something. Why the hell didn't they just go, "Oh honey, we have this like open relationship, we're so sorry you found out this way, this was not an intention, like seriously. I'm sorry, but I do get how the hell they just knew you saw something so emotional and overwhelming as a kid and yelled at you like it was your fault for not knowing. Sorry to be harsh on them, but how are they getting mad at you when they explicitly didn't tell you anything and you were dealing with something troubling? Do you think the parents are wrong for lying? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for not putting my mom in a nursing home? I live with my dad, brothers, and my mom. My mom is the most beautiful soul ever, always there for us, encouraged us in whatever dream or goal we had. 2 years ago my mom suffered a major stroke. She fought hard to learn to be able to walk and talk again, and we were with her every step of the way. Things were going great until this past year. My mom now has unknown neurological disorders that renders her paralyzed to at times almost a vegetative state. In between those times she's fine but can't be left alone. My dad is a truck driver but comes home every weekend and we have a nurse who helps during the day while we're at school or work. I was offered a full ride at one of our country's top universities when I graduated. My family, friends, and my girlfriend were so excited about it. But not as much as my mom. I was excited too, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't leave my mom's care to just my dad and brothers. My GF thinks I'm sick because I have zero problem feeding my mom, changing her diaper, bathing her, dressing her, carrying her outside to sit in her chair. Neither does my dad or brothers. My GF recently told my mom that she was destroying my life and it would be best if she went to a home where others could deal with her. My mom sat us all down crying and apologized to us for being a burden. Told us she was going to look at homes so we could be free to live our lives. When we finally found out why she was saying this, Dad lost it. I called my GF and told her to stay the FCK away from me and my family. That she was a cold-hearted witch who belongs in hell. She called me a sick pervert. Now I have people talking about how I'm in a sexual relationship with my mom. I'm still pissed because my mom is hurting and depressed. None of us want her in a home. But if it's really what mom wants, are we being selfish if we don't put her in one? Small update, Dad's taking a couple weeks off. I sent him a link to this so he could read all the comments. Granted, ultimately any decisions will be made by him and mom, but he wants us all to sit down together and talk. I do want to let y'all know that I'm still going to school, but instead of an Ivy League, I'm going to the University of Arkansas. My middle brother Jake is studying diesel mechanics, and Johnny the youngest has a ways to go before graduating high school and joining the Navy. Girlfriend is in the X category. I'll let y'all know what happens after Dad and Mom talk with us. Update. So in the span of just a few days a lot has happened. 1. Mom found my post and commented. She also found out that my ex had accused me of having a sexual relationship with my mom. 2. Yes, I got into Harvard, but I gave that up to help care for mom. I go to the University of Arkansas. My dreams of becoming a doctor haven't changed, just the path. Dad came home and took mom out. I guess they had fun because they left frowning and came home stupid smiling. This morning the smiles dropped when we got a knock on the door. Apparently mom invited my ex and her family over. In true hostess fashion, mom was very nice with the small talk for a few minutes, then lowered the boom. Apparently a few years ago mom took care of ex's grandparents in a nursing home. She flat out asked if ex thought she was banging her grandparents because she changed them, bathed them, and helped dress them. The look on my ex's parents' faces was priceless. When asked what mom was talking about, mom explained that my ex was going around telling people that I was in a sexual relationship with her because of me taking care of her. They thought we had broken up because I had cheated. When her dad found out what she'd been saying about my mom and he apologized to us and then lost it on her. After they left we had a family meeting. Mom said she wants to go home because she doesn't want any of us to have resentment for giving up being normal teens or our dreams for her. She also feels like she has become a hardship on Dad. Dad just looked at her and informed her that her place was by his side unless it was unsafe for her physically. Then he'd just move into a nursing home with her. As for me, I told her I'm fine with where I am. My brothers agreed. We go out with friends. Though most of our friends prefer to hang at our house, we go on dates. We're normal teens. We did come to a compromise that we'd revisit the issue in a year. Unfortunately, the stress has caused an issue, so mom is at the spa at the hospital tonight with dad. Thanks again everyone. Not the idiot. You're right about one thing for sure, your mom is amazing. Well done for calling out the ex for saying such malicious stuff. For what it's worth, there are midpoints between assisted care places and home. There are a bunch of options for hiring in-home caregivers who can come in for a few hours a day, or every other day or etc. Keep that in mind because it will help your mom feel more comfortable staying at home and not feeling like a burden, and it will help keep her at home longer. If I were you, I'd scope out some good ones and keep them in mind for when and if your family wants to do that. Insurance may cover it.